Hello and welcome to the Jambar Sports Extra. I'm Teziah Howard. Beakley Center ball is back as the Youngstown State University women's volleyball team hosted the Kent State University Golden Flashes. I have more on the story. The Penguins were victorious in all three sets versus the Golden Flashes and earned their first shutout against Kent State in over 40 years. The Penguins head coach Riley Jarrett earned her first career win in her new home court. Since her arrival, Jarrett has made a connection with her players. Junior middle blocker Julia Sell said her new head coach made a good first impression on the team.
So Riley came in the spring. We had basically just a week with her, and I think she really did a good job of showing us what she was made of. She brings so much energy and just so much new life to this team, so I think she's a really big asset to this program.
Sell was making plays on offense and defense. The middle blocker led the team in blocks in the matchup with 3. Sell said she loves the energy from her teammates after getting blocks.
After getting a block, I feel like when I turn my back to my girls, there's always someone hyping me up and in my face, screaming at me in a good way. So I feel like it's always just bringing positive energy, and once I get a block, I feel like it leads me to getting more blocks.
The energy was extended to and from teammates such as junior Abbie Householder and senior Kaya Franklin. The 3 Lady Gwins posted a top 3 finish in kills against the Golden Flashes. Franklin said when playing alongside Householder and Sell, she feels a spike of energy and is confident about their performance.
When Abbie and I and Julia and I are all at the net together, I just feel like this burst of energy. I just feel super confident in what we're about to do. Abbie has been a key player for us since she was a freshman, and Julia has been so amazing this year. I can really trust her to put the ball down.
After finishing a 3-game stretch at home against Mercyhurst University and the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, the Gwins will be on the road to face Robert Morris. To view the game and live stats, visit ESPN+. Reporting for the Jambar, I'm Teziah Howard. YSU football played its final non-conference game against the University of Pittsburgh on September 21st. Sports editor Dylan Lux recaps the contest.
When a team is playing a top 30 FBS opponent inside a stadium often used by the NFL at their homecoming game against a team coming off a close win in a rivalry that dates back to 1895, some would say the odds were stacked against YSU. This was certainly the case for the YSU football team as they traveled to Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh for a matchup with the Panthers to end each team's non-conference slate. Duquesne University bested YSU in the team's previous matchup, while Pitt took care of business against West Virginia in the backyard brawl. By halftime, the Panthers opened up a 42-10 lead, with Youngstown State's only touchdown coming from a 25-yard screen pass from sophomore quarterback Bo Brungard to redshirt freshman wide receiver Cyrus Trough. The final score ended with a Pittsburgh win 73-17, moving the Panthers to 4-0 and dropping the Penguins to 1-3 before conference play. Brungard finished the game with 18 of 28 passing and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. He saw his career high in passing yards with 233 for the game. Youngstown State fumbled on its opening drive, but Brungard said he was happy with how the team responded to the tough start.
It wasn't the start we expected, but after that I felt like our guys got back into it and we started to move the ball well. We got some momentum, and I felt as an offense that we began to move the ball well.
Head coach Doug Phillips said there's always going to be good and bad plays from a team, but he liked the effort he saw from his players.
Like any game, there's going to be good plays. The bad ones you really remember. Those are ones that gas you. But I thought our kids were more aggressive on defense, more physical, especially early.
The Penguins will travel to Springfield, Missouri for their first Missouri Valley Football Conference game. The game will be streamed as the MVFC Game of the Week and will air on ESPN Plus at 3 p.m. on September 28th from Robert W. Plaster Stadium. And for Jambar TV, I'm Dylan Lux. Back to you guys in the studio.
The advising process varies greatly between academic advisors and athletic coordinators. Dylan Lux and Nicholas Bianco are here to break down the difference.
Youngstown State University student athletes are encouraged to keep their focus in the classroom as well as their athletics. Athletic coordinators' responsibilities include keeping student athletes on track throughout their time in college. Senior Athletic Academic Coordinator Becca King said the athletic department switched their names from academic advisors to athletic coordinators to avoid confusion from students and faculty regarding advising.
Typically what we do is we serve as a support person for students to liaison between their actual academic advisor and then also following NCAA guidelines, policies, rules, benchmarks, while making sure they're academically eligible to play.
Assistant Athletic Coordinator Brian Welch said working around a student-athlete schedule is a challenge for coordinators.
It's probably the demands of being a student athlete is really tremendously hard, and you got to be very motivated and dedicated to it.
Senior athletic academic coordinator Tara Blandy said the academic coordinators rely on academic advisors since they specialize in a student-athletes major.
We mandate our athletes have to see them first, just to make sure we're not missing anything, because we help advise for all majors. So we're basically just kind of like a little backup to double check that. So our athletes have basically 2 people double checking their graduation track to make sure that they're staying on track to graduate.
Blandy said the academic coordinator's main role is keeping eligibility for student athletes, and their baseline for credit hours is 12.
That's our main job, is to make sure they're meeting that so they can be out on the field, court, pole, track, whatever, competing.
Ainsley Hampshire, a pole vaulter on the track team, says student athletes create their own schedule of classes, which then get approved by their academic advisor.
We take that schedule and go to our athletic advisor, and they tell us if it'll fit in our practice schedule, and they're in contact with our coaches and stuff like that.
As fall sports season gets into full swing, student athletes are reminded every day that student comes first. Reporting for the Jambar, we're Dylan Lux and Nicholas Bianco.
The YSU volleyball team bested a 2-game home streak against Mercyhurst University and Kent State University. I had the opportunity to interview one of the YSU's best, Abbie Householder. Hello, I'm sitting here with junior Abbie Householder, volleyball player. Abbie, how are you doing today?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us. You've had an impressive stand at home, 2-0 now. We've played Kent State University, we've played Mercyhurst University, both sweeps. How is the mindset going into playing those teams at home?
It's definitely different than last year because we didn't have a great season, but coming off with 2 sweeps, we're feeling pretty good. Going into conference play now, and we're just really excited.
In an impressive home stand, 2-0 now, back in Beagley Center. I know you guys only had a couple weeks to prepare in the Beagley Center. How does it feel to be back at home and have the crowd impact your play?
It's great, honestly. I mean, my family is only like 20 minutes from here, so it's nice to have them be able to come to all my games. But yeah, we only had, I think, 3 practices before our first home game, like in Beagley. So it was definitely an adjustment at first, but we've been off to a good start, so.
An impressive start. And I know volleyball is that play where you're on tournaments, you're on the road constantly. So the shift back to Beagley Center, how is the difference between, being on the road for 3 days for a tournament and then coming back to Beagley and you have your home crowd with you? Was it what you expected?
It was definitely what I expected, but more because obviously we had a long time of away games and traveling, and it was kind of exhausting, so we were definitely ready for it. I don't know, we were just really excited, and I don't know. That excitement
definitely turned into some motivation. It turned into determination to, drive forward and get you guys 2 sweeps on the road, or 2 sweeps at home, I should say. So when you're starting your season and you're on the road constantly, do you kind of find relief in that first home game or that second home game and stuff like that?
For sure. It's nice because, one, you get to sleep in your own bed, you get to have a relaxing morning, prepare yourself for the game, whereas on the road it's a little stressful, tight, you're at the hotel. So it's definitely nice and a good change to play at home.
And as a D1 athlete, I mean, your course, you're thinking about all the stuff you have to do on the road. You still have homework. You got to leave class early. So definitely a little bit of relief going into that. So you've definitely had some teammates that have been, praising you, saying that they enjoy playing with you. Kai Franklin, Julia Self said that, they've loved the energy that you guys displayed. Do you feel that energy right back when you guys are on the court, especially at a home game like that?
Oh, for sure. I think we're all pretty good at bringing the energy. Like anytime anyone does anything good, we're all just screaming, and like some people shove each other, and it's so much energy and so much fun on the court, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. Like the group of girls are just, I love all of them so much.
Right, and it's not even the ones on the court. The ones off the court, they're dancing, sure. They're giving the facial expressions, they're doing push-ups, they're doing anything to keep that energy up, and that's perfect for especially a smaller group of young athletes like that to showcase, especially at home. So is that energy still the same on the road when you guys travel?
It is. There's definitely some games where it's like a little slump, but then like it's also on the court. It's all of us. but we've been working on it, and it's been so much better, especially at home because of the energy switch, and we've been talking about like bringing that on to our next away games as well.
So you would say that would be kind of the mindset going into some of these home games. Like, is there anything specific that, you know, the captains or you specifically, because I know you've been here for, you know, longer, you have the experience. Is there something, like one thing that you guys preach or the motto that you guys have for going into, you know, every game, not just home or not just away?
Just control what we can control, like, and energy is one of those things, like effort is another one of those things, so that comes to like physical play, but energy is one of the things that we constantly are trying to focus on in practice too, not just games.
That's perfect to say. You could never have enough energy, and you know, most of the fans, they're only capturing it during, you know, the game time, during the times where you're actually on the court and, you know, you're playing against an opponent, not just playing in practice. So to really see the behind the scenes and get that perspective from you specifically is definitely important. So I want to ask you, like, the mental prep going into volleyball, because I know obviously as a D1 athlete, there's a lot of physicality that goes into it. There's a lot of prep that you have to do to your body, getting it right for game day or even just for tournaments or even just for practice. So what's the mindset that you and your teammates have to have going into a certain practice or going into a certain road game?
Honestly, we've talked about letting volleyball and practice in our games just be our escape from like the rest of the world. So obviously outside of practice, we need to worry about school and what's going on in our personal life and all that stuff. But we try to take practice and just anytime we're on the court or like with each other, just as an escape and just to relax and just enjoy our time there instead of worrying about, oh, I have this much homework, or oh, my best friend's mad at me, just like stuff like that. So volleyball is just our place to relax and not focus on anything else.
Focusing on the good times, and especially as a college athlete, being in college for that long, it starts to creep up on you. You start to get a little stressful. So to find that stress relief in your sport is absolutely perfect. So the student athlete life, you know, you balance a lot of stuff, like, you know, the schoolwork, like you said, the homework and stuff like that. Is there ever a time where you think it's all going to be, you know, perfectly fine, or you think it's all going to pile up and then you hop on the court and volleyball is just like everything gets erased from your mind and you're just thinking about balling out there?
No, for sure. That is how it always is. I had an exam this past week and I was super stressed about it, but then as soon as I got to practice, it was like completely off my mind. That's kind of how it always has been for me. Like, no matter what's going on in my life or like school or whatever, it's just volleyball is a good escape, and I don't know, I love it.
Balling back in Beagley, I love it as well. You know, we're all seeing it. The fans are seeing it. The students are seeing it. And someone like you who's led the team in kills for, you know, the first home game at Kent State, and now, you know, we know that all you're thinking about is volleyball. You're thinking about balling. You know, you're with your new head coach and you're with your girls. So how has the Riley Jarrett really been in her new stand and her new two game stretch of home games, winning that?
She's been great. She was the best change we could have ever asked for. I think she's really turning this program around for the better, and whether we're already seeing it this year, but I know in the future it's going to be a great change for the program. There's already been some things or many things that all of us are like really happy about, just small changes, big changes, all of it, but yeah.
Could you speak on some of those small changes or big changes that you guys have felt as a team collectively?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this really comes from the coach or just like the recruits or what, but just the whole energy and the vibe and the flow of the team has been a complete 180 from the past years. And not that it was bad in the past, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, it's just different. But and there's just like little things that we do, like physical skill wise in practice, that are big. I don't know if they're big or little, but there's just like skill changes that we're making that are very different and having a positive outcome. And then just things that we do to prepare for games that like we haven't done in the past, and it's all just like adding up to really good outcomes.
So we're looking at freshman Abbie to present Abbie. What's one thing that you see different in your play or in your mindset as a D1 athlete?
My confidence is completely different. My freshman year, obviously, I didn't expect to play, and then as soon as I was put on the court, it was like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually out here. But my confidence is definitely there, and it wasn't back then. And I think that just comes down to believing in myself and knowing that my teammates believe in me, and I'm not scared to make that mistake because I know like I have in the back of my head, if I make that mistake, I'm going to get the next one. So
Mistakes are meant to be made. I mean, that's the only way that, us as athletes can correct those and build. And you've had teammates, previously say that they've been, or you've been, a key standpoint for them. And on the court, you guys have collectively been, pushing away at hard work and talent and stuff like that. And you've been a huge key to the team, especially as a freshman even coming in. So how does that make you feel that you have other teammates, behind your back? I know that's a kind of a term that people would like to use in a negative way, but in a positive way,
Yeah.
you might not have, you might not know or be aware of these teammates that are, praising you. They have high things to say about you. So how does that make you feel as an athlete?
I mean, it feels good because it proves that hard work does pay off and that people do see it. And I don't know, it feels good to know that like people will have my back no matter what, and that they do see the hard work that I'm putting in and that it's paying off.
We would definitely be continuing to root for you, continuing to watch, definitely on ESPN+. Thank you, Abbie, for joining us. I've been Teziah Howard here with Abbie Householder. That's all we have this week for the Jambar Sports Extra. Join us next week for the Jambar News Magazine.